Ready to get your shit together? Isn't that what we are all truly trying to do? In this fun, life hack full show, we will learn together how to navigate this roller coaster called life. We, as glorious messy humans, can sit in the proverbial third car, grumpy and bored, or in the front of the roller coaster having the time of our lives. What do you choose? In this show, you can expect meaningful content and practical takeaway tools to make life easier and exceptionally more joyful. There will be epic guests who already love their lives, allowing them to share their get your shit together tips and words of wisdom. Life is too long and too short to not love your life. Welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy, and I'm your host, Amy Joy. Happy Thursday, and congratulations on your abundance. Take a deep breath and look around at how abundant you really, really are. We so often forget. And so at the beginning of each show, I'd love to remind you of how abundant you are. Right now, I am feeling extremely abundant because tomorrow I get to travel with my 3 sons and other family members to California, to LA, to see my spiritual masters will be there, my spiritual teachers, Sri Krishnaji and Sri Preetaji. We're going to go to experience enlightenment. And I have this here for you in case there's anybody there in the LA area or anyone who wants to fly in and do it. It's amazing. It's going to be a 4-hour event. And I'm very excited to share that with my family and to meet some friends and to just really have this time of oneness, this togetherness. So what are you feeling abundant about today? Those of you on Facebook, please interact. I would love to hear from you and on the replay as well. We have a life hacked full show as always, and I'm very excited to have Amy B. Killen with us today. She is an expert and specializes in sex and skin. So we are going to learn all kinds of yummy, good stuff today. I'm excited. As I looked into her further, there are so many things that I've never heard of. So I'm really excited to learn because if I don't know, I'm sure there's others like me who haven't heard of these things. And it sounds important to know. So excited to have her. Thank you, Amy, for being here. And remember, we have mantra magic and meditation moment, and stay tuned to the end for the activation, the energetic activation. Just thank you so much for being here. I love you. All right. So this is the time of the show where we change our state, elevate. All right. So why do we do that? Change your state, elevate. Well, often we find ourselves in low frequency. And today we're actually going to answer the question, which is, there's a cost for low frequency, and are you willing to pay the price? So we're going to dive deep into what low frequency actually does to your body and to your emotions and to your life. And what we can do is in 2 minutes, this is why I do it for just 2 minutes, so that you can see that it's easy to change your state, to go from crappy to happy really quick. So today we're going to breathe. Breathing is always, always, always good. And so often we're breathing shallowly. So right now I want you to breathe deep into the bottom of your belly. Hold at the top and exhale. And if you can make a sound like that, it actually helps. So make it, let it all hang out. Breathe in again. Like that. And I want you to get a drink. All right, we're going to hydrate. This also changes your frequency. And throughout the show today, I'm going to attempt to remind you. All right. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to pull from this deck called Raise Your Vibration by Kyle Gray. And I'm going to pull a card for us today for the collective. And this is going to be our message before we get our shit together. All right, here we go. So our card for the day is see this from a higher perspective. See this from a higher perspective. So I'm going to look that up here. Oh my gosh, I pulled right to it. That's amazing. Awesome. All right, so it says, when this card comes to you, you are in a crucial energy space where you have the real opportunity to move beyond the limitations of your ego and any selfish desires. Today, the universe is coming in and offering you a higher perspective. This time is pivotal in your soul's evolution, for you are learning about your gifts, but also being confronted by your ego and weaknesses. Limiting old ideas will be telling you that there's not enough for everyone, that if you don't fight, you won't succeed, and that if you don't push, you'll never get what you want. There's also a good chance that the old story is revisiting you, but this isn't because you're taking backward steps. It's to remind you how far you have come. This is your chance to take the higher road. Know that you deserve abundance. Abundance. And there is enough to go around. Know that the universe is leading you to your greatest good, because good things happen to good people and you are good. Prove it now by doing everything with love and respect. The vibe of the day is, I choose to take the high road to my greatest good. All right. Perspective is everything. Change your perspective, change your life, change your frequency, change your life. All right. Awesome. So right now is the time to get our shit together. Awesome. So today we're going to answer the question, there is a cost for low frequency, and are you willing to pay it? I want to give you a little story, share a little story about my experience with low frequency and what it did to me. And then I have some slides for you. So get your phone ready to take some pictures or some screenshots so that you can have this for yourself. Last week, we talked about frequency as well. So if you want to check out last week, it was the introductory to it. And today we're diving deeper into what actual low frequency does specifically to our bodies. All right. So when I was running for my life from an abusive husband, I was terrified. I was terrified most of the time. I was living in fear. And what ended up happening is I ended up having migraines. And one migraine turned into an all-day migraine, which turned into 2 days, which turned into 3 days, which turned into a year and a half with a full-fledged migraine. At one point, I was in the hospital. They kept doping me up on Demerol, saying, this is going to knock it out. This is going to knock it out. 3 days later, I was like, I'm going to end up addicted. This is not working. And I suffered massively, to the point where, and I'm thankful for this, I got to the point where I looked at my bottle of pills, because I was taking massive meds to try to minimize it. I looked at the pills and I thought, if I took them all, this would go away. And as soon as I thought it, I was like, oh, I can't believe I just thought that, because never in my life have I thought that. And I haven't thought it again, thankfully. But in that moment, it was very real for me. And I'm glad that I have that moment, because I can have empathy for people who have been there. But that was a wake-up call for me. I was like, okay, no, that is not an option. And what can I do, right? What can I do to change this? So I ended up, long story short, most of you who follow me, I ran away, and I moved to Mexico, and I started over with my kids, and I removed myself from the terror. And I also moved myself away from a community that was no longer accepting me due to being divorced. And so as hard as it was to move, it actually helped me start over, because I was in so much fear and shame. so much shame for being divorced, for not having a successful marriage, for wanting to date again, all the things that were not okay with the community that I was growing up in. And so I carried, even though I moved and I was free, I carried all this guilt and shame. And it plays havoc on your health. And so here, I want to show you this. All right, so this is a little background from last week. All right, so episode 25, you can check that out. That was last week. What is low frequency? So I want you to look at this chart, and you're going to see this line here across at the 200 mark. Anything below the line is low frequency, and that's when you're telling yourself life is hard. All right, if you're above the line, then you're telling yourself life is easy, and you're believing good things and seeing things, brighter. So if you're below the line, then you're feeling things like guilt, shame, apathy, fear, grief, desire, anger, and pride. Pride not in I'm proud of myself, pride in I'm arrogant. All right. And these are all suffering states. All right. So this is what a low frequency looks like. All right. Next one. So what are the long-term effects of low frequency? It literally makes us sick physically. I have Wendy Jensen books. Let me come off of there real quick. I have Wendy Jensen's book. We've had her on the show. You remember her. And she has a whole book on ailments that you can look up, and then literally has questions that you can ask yourself to help you with the emotions that have caused the illness. It's amazing. I love it. I use it all the time because in the studies that I've done, 85% of our physical ailments are emotionally based. Okay. So here we go. So the potential effects of chronic fear on physical health include headache turning into migraines. Interesting. Fear, muscles aches turning into fibromyalgia, body aches turning into chronic pain, and difficulty breathing turning into asthma. Mary D. Moeller, and you can see all of her accolades there, so many. Director of Psychiatric Services, Northwest Center for Integrated Health. So ask yourself right now, truly, how much time do you spend in fear? How much time do you spend in fear? The effects of long-term anger on the body are headache, digestive problems, insomnia, increased anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, skin problems such as eczema, heart attack, and stroke. Ask yourself, how much time do I spend angry? And do you have any of these that are causing suffering? Take a minute to just take a look. Effects on us emotionally, these low frequency emotions, they have the potential effects of chronic fear. The potential effects of chronic fear on emotional health include disassociation from self, an inability to have loving feelings. Imagine. Learned helplessness, phobic anxiety, mood swings, obsessive compulsive thoughts. You just take one of those things and ask yourself how much that would affect your life as a whole. And it's from fear. Effects of shame on the body include anxiety, depression, worthlessness, low self-esteem. Ask yourself, how much time do I spend in shame? Shame, guys, is the lowest frequency. Run like you know what away from shame. Run. Don't allow it in your life. Don't do it to your kids. Don't do it. Don't engage. It is sickness. It is sickness. So ask yourself this: how have low frequencies affected your life specifically? So ask this: how have low frequencies affected my health? Take a minute and just think about that. Look at your health. If any of those things I've mentioned are in your present current situation, you can tell which emotion is ruling. No guilt, no shame about it. It's just when you know you can do something about it. How have these low frequencies affected your joy? Do you have joy? Do you love your life? How has it affected your family? We all love the people in our life, and how many of them are suffering right now with health issues, and how much of it is because of these low frequency emotions that we allow to stay in our lives. What about your work, your finances, your friends? I hope you take a picture of this and spend some time really looking and then asking yourself this question: is it worth it for me to continue in these low frequency emotions? Is it worth it? Whew. I am glad that someone taught me how to raise my frequency. And so here it is. We talk about it here on the show all the time, and I will continue because it's only, I think, one of the most important things we can do in our life. So how do you raise your frequency? You got to become aware first that you're in a crappy or a beautiful state. Crappy or happy? Are you below the line or above the line? Because once you know, you can do something about it, right? Work the diamond of freedom. We went over that many times. I'm going to show you here in a second. Meditate. Surround yourself with high frequency people, grateful people, people who love their lives. This matters. Don't watch the news, please. And connect with nature. These are some ideas. We do this in Change Your State Elevate every week, right? And then here's the diamond of freedom, so you can take a picture of that. You want to move your body. You want to change what you're focused on. You want to change the story you're telling yourself. And you want to connect to source, right? And this is what can make the difference. In literally seconds, you can go from suffering to a beautiful state, or as my nephew says, crappy to happy. All right. If you're interested in diving even deeper, you can go to my book. I wrote it for this purpose so that we can change our frequency. You can go to amyjoycoaching.com. I have a free download for you there. Chapter 9 is the chapter that this is the frequency chapter, everything there. And if you want to go straight to Amazon, you can at getyourshittogether.life. Feel free to get your free download at Amy Joy Coaching as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully that was a blessing to you. Awesome. Nice to see you there on Facebook. I see you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So now it is time for me to introduce our guest of the week. Amy B. Killen is a leading longevity and regenerative physician specializing in sex and skin. In her Utah-based practices, she combines stem cell injections with photobiomodulation, shockwave therapy, bioidentical hormones, peptides, and an old-fashioned healthy lifestyle to give patients unparalleled synergistic regenerative effects for skin, hair, and sexual systems. Dr. Killen is an international speaker, entrepreneur, educator, and co-founder of the Human Optimization Project, HOP, and Reputable Health. She is an amazing person. I've met her personally at Engage from the Stage event that I was kind of on the peripheral. And so pleased to have you. Welcome. Put your hands together and hearts in the chat for Dr. Amy B. Killen.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yay. Yay. I'm just getting this background off. Here we go. Awesome. Well, I'm very fascinated with what you do. I've seen you on Mindvalley. She has a course on Mindvalley. It's awesome. It's called The Science of Great Sex. Did I say that right?
That's right.
All right. And it's really good. And she gets into the fundamentals and then gets into the nitty gritties. It's awesome. And she's amazing at what she does. You had your own practice for a while, right, Amy? And then now you've shifted from the traditional to the untraditional, I would say. What would you say to that?
Well, I still have my own practice, but I only work part-time now. I was an ER doctor my first 10 years of my career. And then about 10 years ago, I shifted from that into practicing integrative medicine and stem cell medicine and this sort of human optimization medicine, which is what I do now.
I love that. So I would love for you to interact with the audience for just a minute and tell them a little bit more about you so that they have a foundation, and I'll duck out while you do that. Go
Sure.
ahead.
So I call myself a regenerative and physician and longevity focused physician. I was an ER doctor for about 10 years. And then in 2013, I left that field after becoming just kind of burned out. I had my 3 kids within 2 years, and I was super stressed, not sleeping more than 2 or 3 hours a night, and not eating well, not exercising, like all the things that you're supposed to do. I wasn't doing, and it was really tough. So I eventually left the ER and started learning about how to actually be healthy, like how to take care of myself. And so I went back to school, did some fellowship programs, and eventually started opening my own practice, doing a lot of hormone therapy. So, perimenopause, menopause, andropause, thyroid, all of that, as well as later on adding in some stem cell therapies and other regenerative medicine therapies, which is basically giving you the tools so that your body can heal itself instead of having to necessarily go to the hospital and things like that. I'm still kind of in between both worlds, between traditional medicine and integrative medicine. I kind of do both. But I have a practice here in Utah where I do stem cell medicine. And then I also have a longevity focused supplement company called the Human Optimization Project, or HOP. And I'm also involved in some Web3 projects as well in this sort of optimization space. So that's the short version of me.
Yay, I love it. And I have this. You mentioned hop.
Oh, cute.
Let me see if I can move us out of the way here. Other way. I guess I thought that was a good idea, but to make it the background, but I guess that wasn't very smart.
I can see it. It's cute. Yeah, this is my longevity supplement company, Hop. We made it Hop for short, and it's basically just monthly subscription, twice daily little packs, super easy, super fun for people who are interested in health optimization and longevity.
Awesome. So I have this here for everybody. 1 second. Hop, here it is. Here's the banner.
Oh, thank you.
Go to that so you can get your longevity box. It's really cute. The packaging, I like what you're doing.
Yeah, we try to make it more fun. I feel like a lot of supplements are kind of like, it's like a drudge. And our whole thing was like, how can we make this more fun, easy, accessible to people who don't want to do all their own research, but do want to take all the right stuff. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
I think you succeeded, because I was like, this is fun.
Perfect.
The colors and everything. It's really well done. Yeah.
Thank
Way
you.
to go. Way to go. So tell me about photobiomodulation. I was like, what in the world? I've never even heard of that.
Well, you probably have. It's just a fancy name for like using light as therapy, like red light therapy. Like you've seen like the red light panels and the blue light and the different types of light.
Yeah.
So photobiomodulation is the fancy name, but like red light therapy or other kinds of light therapy is the less fancy name.
Okay. And is that like you put the whole body into a machine, or is it one of the hand wands? Because I have a hand wand that has infrared. Is that
Yeah, there's all different types. There's the panels, there's like the ones you lie down, there's like multiple panels, there's the face wraps, there's all different types, kind of depending on what you're targeting, whether it's, if it's skin health, it's different than if it's whole body health. So there's different ways to give the light therapy, but there's actually quite a bit of research now that supports using, something as simple as red light or near infrared light to increase energy production in your cells and to improve skin health and hair growth and some of those kinds of things.
Amazing. So do you get into the mitochondria conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. The red light, that's what it does. It activates ATP, or energy production, in the mitochondria. And so that's kind of one of the main ways it works, and also increases nitric oxide, which is really good for blood flow. So it has a couple of different things that it does. It's great.
Awesome. And so the next one is shockwave therapy.
So shockwave therapy sounds way worse than it is. But that basically, it's a low intensity extracorporeal shockwave therapy is the long version of that name. And basically that's using high intensity sound waves, actually like acoustic waves or pressure waves to kind of create like a micro damage to a tissue. So we use that specifically for, I use it for treating sexual dysfunction in men, and I also, and sometimes in women, and we also use it for like musculoskeletal pain. So essentially it's a device that you just apply to the skin. It's like a little jackhammer. It's like, and you do some sessions of this, and it actually promotes healing, getting your own body to heal itself.
Amazing. I love learning new things. This is awesome. So what is bioidentical hormones?
So that's taking, that's the hormones like estrogen and testosterone, progesterone. But instead of taking the synthetic version that's made, that's not the same as what your body would make, the bioidentical hormones are the ones that match what your body makes. So it's for perimenopause, menopause, in men, andropause. But when you start losing those really important hormones, this is replacing those.
Amazing. I've actually done this. I had my tubes tied and I was not the same person after that. And my hormones were all over the place. And I ended up putting a cream. Is it like a cream?
Yeah, it can be creams, it can be pills, it can be injections. There's all different ways to do it. But yeah, can be.
It really helped me. It really helped me. And it was a natural product too. I had to drive all the way to Toronto, to like 2.5 hours from my town to do it because there was no near. So I'm grateful for you and the people that live near you, because maybe it's more common now, but 16 years ago it wasn't. So and then I know this word peptides, but for the audience, in case they don't know, what are peptides?
So peptide just means short protein. So it's like a protein that's kind of short. And there's a bunch of different peptides out there, and these are being used more and more. They have a specific function. So maybe you have a peptide for healing, or maybe you have a peptide for helping with sleep, or for sexual function, or for skin health. There's hundreds of peptides out there, but these are essentially little proteins that have a specific action. And these are usually injections, but sometimes they're creams, sometimes they're pills. But we prescribe these for specific reasons, that's kind of outside of traditional medications, but still very, very active ingredients like you'd find in traditional drugs.
Okay, amazing. And tell me about this. You're very excited about this, and I know why. I checked it out. Very exciting.
What is this? What is this one? Oh,
no, I put the wrong one.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. I was like, the Quantified Collective. I was like, what is the other one? I don't even know what that is.
I'm so sorry. I put the wrong one.
Quantified Collective. So I'm involved in this company called Reputable, which is it's a Web3, so it's a blockchain-based platform that's trying to kind of make sense of all of this wellness information and data that's out there, that, user data, like all your wearables, like your Oura rings and your Whoops and all the things that we're tracking in your labs, and essentially taking all of this information that's already out there and giving people the ability to share that information with each other, and in a de-identified way. So we don't know who's sharing it, but be able to earn tokens for doing so we can start to sort of make sense of what types of therapies are actually working and what's not in this wellness space. So trying to bring a little bit more structure to the wellness world, where there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's hard to sometimes quantify what's actually working and what's not. So this collective is a group of people who are getting together, and we're actually still recruiting. So if you want to join, we have a wait list that started. Go to that site, and you can sign up. And essentially, we are trying to help bring a little bit more research and more accuracy to make this a little better for wellness.
Yay! Thank you, because it's been a bit of a challenging time of late, and trying to navigate what's true and all of that is eesh. So to have a collective of people that are sharing their individual wisdom and collective wisdom, I think that's very valuable. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Amazing. So this is all about life hacks, this show. We're getting our shit together, little 2mm things that we can do differently. So tell me, what is your best life hack for sex, and what is your best life hack for skin?
My best life hack in general, I think it applies to both, honestly, is learning how to sleep well. And it's something people talk about, but I spent 15 years not really sleeping well. I was an ER doctor for 10 years. I had 3 little kids. I was up, I was working crazy hours. And so I spent all these years not really sleeping. And when I shifted that, and when I decided to make myself a priority and my health a priority, I learned to sleep. And all of a sudden, it's like the world became like colorful again. And all of a sudden my skin cleared up, and I was able to lose weight, and I didn't have the cravings, and I was, and sex was better. Like everything was better when I learned to sleep. So that is my number one hack, is learn to sleep.
Interesting. So can you give us some tips on that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly for me, part of it was just getting out of a job, unfortunately, that was keeping me working crazy shifts. I was getting up at 3 in the morning to go to work and working overnights and things like that. So sometimes you don't have a lot of control, but getting into a steady rhythm where you're going to the bed at the same time every night, getting up at the same day, pretty much every day is important. Other things you can do, avoiding alcohol, especially in those few hours before bed. Alcohol really disrupts sleep, even though it makes you a little bit tired. It wakes you up a lot at night. Not eating anything, if you can avoid it in the like 2 or 3 hours before bed, can also help you sleep because you're not digesting and while you're trying to rest. And then, getting off your phones and devices and anything with blue light in the at least hour before bed, because that's going to disrupt your melatonin production in your brain. So use a regular book or a Kindle or something, but block all that blue light. And then sleeping in a cold room with like a face mask or a really, really dark room can also make a huge difference for sleep.
Woo! Mic drop. All right. So what I heard you say is get into a job that allows you to sleep. If you can. 2, go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time is ideal. Don't eat or drink alcohol within a few hours, right? And the last one.
Cool, very dark room.
Yes. I use an eye mask and I can't do it without it now.
I do too. I'm addicted to it for sure. And obviously, if you have young kids, it can be hard to sleep, and that was part of my problem for some of those years. And you can't help that. But at some point, I put my kids through kind of a sleep training course and got them sleeping really well, and that made a huge difference for me as well.
Absolutely. One of the things that if you're in a crappy state, you have to ask 4 questions. 1, have you slept? Maybe you need to sleep. Maybe you need to eat. Maybe you need to drink. Actually, everybody, grab your water. Maybe you need to drink. And what was the 4th one? Oh shoot, it's gone. But often it's one of those things, and it'll fix it. Oh, breathe. You got to breathe.
Oh,
are you breathing shallowly or are you breathing deep? Right.
Yep.
So yeah. Awesome. And then what would you say is your best life hack for sex? I know sleep helps, but come on, give us some goods.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do. Certainly there's all kinds of medical stuff. There's all kinds of, treatments and therapies and things. But I think the most important thing is just make it a priority and actually put it in, like, make it, put it in your mind as something that you're going to make happen and you're going to make a priority. Because I think especially as we get busy with jobs and kids and, travels and whatever, it just it becomes like it gets moved down the list of things that are important. But sexual health is actually really important for all kinds of things, for emotional health and mental health and physical health, spiritual health, all of that. So I think that it's just about, deciding that it's important and then make it a priority.
I love that. Absolutely. And do you have an idea based on your studies and your experience of how often is considered healthy?
I will tell you, well, first of all, it's obviously very different for every person. Like there's no like right number, right things. The studies that have been done that looked at like benefits of being sexually active, usually it's about 1 to 2 times a week is what they consider to be, should have shown benefit in terms of like reducing cardiovascular risk or reducing, other disease risks and things like that. So there's not like a number, but I would say once a week is probably something to shoot for.
Yeah. And often, some people get into the habit of not doing it, and then it can be difficult to reconnect.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Yeah.
You almost get shy again, and it gets weird.
Yeah, you kind of forget like how important it is and how much you like it. It's just like it kind of just gets pushed aside.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think is the most misunderstood fact or information about sex?
I think that a lot of people think that that you're supposed to just kind of lose interest and as you get older, like you're supposed to lose interest and like lose function, and that's totally normal. It's fine. And it is fairly common for things to get progressively worse as you get older, especially if you're not paying attention to your general health and your physical, your mental health, emotional health, all of that. But it's not true that it has to. I think that there are so many things now, that people can do on their own, just lifestyle wise. And then in addition, things that we could do as physicians, replacing hormones, for instance, or even other things to keep people sexually healthy for as long as they want to be.
Amazing. what would you say to the question of the week with the low frequency? And how do you feel low frequency emotions like guilt, shame, anger, fear, apathy, grief play into skin and sex?
Well, I mean, I think that shame is a big one. Guilt is a big one when it comes to sexual health, and sexuality is about embracing your sexuality. Being sexually healthy means embracing your sexuality, whatever that is. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want, but just embracing that and being happy with it. And I feel like there's so much shame. For women especially, but for men and women in around sex and around, are you doing it right? Are you doing it enough? Or do you look good enough? With like all these things, like people feel so much shame and guilt, and they feel so much just bad about themselves. And I feel like that's obviously going to affect how you show up to your partner, but also just how you show up in the world.
Absolutely. I had to deal with massive amounts of shame with how I grew up. I grew up in basically a cult. It was cultish, at least, and I mean, I didn't know anything, like really anything, before I got married, and yeah, so many, and even masturbation. Like I felt guilty, so much guilt about that, and now that I didn't realize then that those frequencies are so harmful. You know what I mean? So now when I see it, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
And I change it as fast as I possibly can because it is nasty.
Yeah, it is. And we know that kind of, like, whether it's shame or guilt or self-hatred or depression or anxiety or all the things that kind of end up going together, we know that those change, the neurotransmitters in your brain. They change your cortisol levels. They change the amount of inflammation in your body. So like, it's not a short-term problem. It can cause long-term problems, and it can cause, many health problems down the line are associated with stress. And that comes from all of these feelings.
Absolutely. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's one of my heroes. And I have this on page 132, but he did a study. And it says this, many studies show that the field of frequency, known as the field, all around us affects matter directly. One study was on a group of women who all had ovarian cancer markers, signs of inclination towards cancer in the field. So in the aura around the person. Some had ovarian cancer initially, but eventually all who had the marker in the field eventually had ovarian cancer. In other words, this is it. Cancer didn't create the marker in the field. The marker in the field created the cancer. So it's our frequency we create at the frequency at which we vibrate. So if we're vibrating low frequency, then we're creating low frequency things like sickness and all of that. So that was fascinating. I've been to Dr. Joe's multiple events, and he showed some of the studies that he's done, and it's quite fascinating. So, what is your favorite thing about what you do?
I love, I treat happy people, and I love seeing them get even just more happy, more excited, more like it's a very different world than, when I was in the emergency department, which that was an important job. And I'm glad people are doing it, but it's, it brings you down quite a bit because you're just around a lot of very unhappy, scared, frustrated, frightened people. But now I get to see mostly people who are they feel empowered and they're excited and they want to take the next steps, whatever that is, to kind of be healthier and be happier.
Amazing. And what do you treat the most? What are people mostly coming for?
So right now I'm only taking new patients for stem cells. So I have another clinic where I'm an owner, and we do a lot of hormones. We do, all kinds of other things. And I kind of help with that clinic, but I don't see patients there anymore. So right now it's just stem cells. So I do a lot of sexual procedures with stem cells. I do skin health, like skin injections for just improving skin health, hair restoration. We do some like longevity work as well. But right now it's mostly stem cells that I'm seeing patients.
Amazing. So can you explain stem cells a little bit more, and where are you getting your stem cells?
Yeah, so stem cells are the cells in your body that are responsible for the upkeep of all the different organs in your body. And as you get older, your stem cells become less numerous and they become less active. So they're not, it's like, so if I cut myself now, if I'm out roller skating, cut myself, it takes me, a week or longer to heal. And I have a scar and it's not as pretty as if my 13-year-old son does the same thing. He's healed up in like 2 days. He has young stem cells. I have older stem cells. And so that's, how I explain it. But basically the idea behind stem cell therapy is we can either use the patient's own cells, like we take stem cells from your bone marrow or your fat where they're just not being used, they're kind of hiding out, and we just move them somewhere else. Or we can also potentially use other sources of either growth factors or stem cells, like umbilical cord cells from donated tissues and things like that.
Wow. And how fast is the change?
It usually takes a few months to see benefit from stem cell procedures because you're trying to send signals to your own cells to become more active, to increase blood vessel formation, to increase, if it's skin, increase collagen, increase elastin. So those things definitely take some time. This is not a quick fix kind of thing. But the good news is you're actually repairing, you're repairing it the way that your body would normally do that.
Amazing. So I would love to know this. What are you most proud of in your life?
I think I'm just the most proud that I have 3 like amazing, healthy, awesome kids. They're teenagers now. So far, so good. We haven't had any super, super rough spells. But I don't know how, I'm not even sure it's my doing, but I'm proud that I have them, whether I'm to blame or not.
You couldn't have said it better. That's exactly how I feel. Absolutely. I can't take credit, I don't think. But
yeah.
But I'm so thankful and so proud of them. Yeah. Very cool.
Oh.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go to Mantra Magic right now and meditation moment. We're going to have you back on at the end. And what I want you to be thinking about is this. If you were on a mountaintop and you had the whole world's attention and you just had one thing to say, what would that be? So we're going to come back to you for that nugget. And Amy, I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for who you're being in the world. And we'll have you here back on the show in just a minute.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya. Oh, awesome. So great. All right. So we are going to have Mantra Magic. But before that, we have a brief commercial. And I want you to know that this is another frequency hack. It's a bed that you lay on and you listen to music and the bed vibrates and it does all kinds of things. It's really cool. It's called the Vibe. And here it is. I love that. Change your vibe, change your life, change your frequency, change your life, change your story, change your life. So many things that can just completely change your life. All right, it is Mantra Magic, and they can also change your life because you get to have a new tune in your head with amazing, beautiful words, and other than the words that we often have, which are "I'm not good enough," "This is always happening to me," etc., etc. So here is the mantra of the week. Welcome to Mantra Magic. I'm here with Maria Ishtali, and here is your mantra for the week. Finding stillness All right, there's your mantra. You can find it every week on Instagram at Amy Joy Coaching. I have it up there for you if you want to get it in your head. It's funny. I wake up singing these songs. It's fun. It does change how your day goes. All right, it is time for meditation moment. Meditation is one of those things that we do every week, and it was on the list, if you noticed earlier, for how to raise your frequency. It's completely changed my life, and we're just going to spend 5 minutes together doing that. So grab your kids, grab your grandkids, anybody around, grab the dog, and sit down for just 5 minutes. It might be your favorite 5 minutes of the day. So I'm going to play some beautiful music real fast here. This is from the amazing Gary Melkin. I get to see him this week. So exciting. So he has this music for us. I want you to sit, put your hands in your lap, and just breathe for a minute. Be conscious of your breath. I want you to notice, how do you feel right now? Are you crappy? Are you happy? Are you in a suffering state or a beautiful state? Don't make it right or wrong, good or bad. Just notice. Just notice. And now I want you to notice, what are you thinking? Are they thoughts of the past or of the future or of the present? And again, don't make it right or wrong, good or bad. Just notice. Notice your breath going in and out. Just feel it. Now I want you to visualize a flame flickering right in front of your eyebrows. Just watch it. Notice the golds and the whites, the yellows and the oranges and the reds. Just notice. And then slowly slide that candle right into the middle of your head. And watch it flicker there. And with your hands on your heart, I want you to think about something you're grateful for. Hopefully something you feel so grateful for it makes you smile. While you're in this state of gratitude, I'm going to send you energetic activation. This is called a Diksha. It's a beautiful energy. Just up to you to receive it or not. It's all good. With a deep breath in, a big exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. All right. I'm going to bring Amy back on. There she is. How was that for you, Amy? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. It was great. Thank you.
Awesome. So, do you have your answer for us? If you had one thing to say and you're on top of a mountain and you had the whole world's attention, what would you share?
I would share the idea that life doesn't have any edges except for the ones that you actually create for yourself. And I think that, it's a very empowering statement. Like if you think about the edges we put around our lives, those are there because we put them there.
Yeah.
So, you can change them if you want to.
Beautiful. There's no ceiling. I love that. Very cool. Well, any last words for our audience today?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right. So I'm just going to put this up here again. So if anyone wants to join the collective, the Qualified Collective, they go here and there's instructions there for them, Amy?
Yeah, you just sign up for the wait list. We're still have a wait list right now, and we're letting people in kind of slowly as we become ready.
Awesome. And if you want to go to the Hot Box and find this really fun supplement box that comes to you monthly and has everything you need for longevity. And what else? Longevity and what else?
It's longevity, but it's energy, it's sleep, it's skin. It's like basically all the things you kind of want in a super longevity pack.
Beautiful. And if you had to pick one of the things, you have a bunch of different pills in there, I guess, for lack of a better word. What one is the humdinger to you?
Well, I put them all together. Like there's 19 ingredients in 5 pills. So I really think that you kind of want that synergy of all of them. And that's why I created them together in a little pack.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Amy. It's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot. I'm sure my audience has as well. And for those of you who want to go to Amy Joy Coaching, if you want to dive in deeper there as well, I would love to connect with you. Thank you for spending your very, very precious time with us today. And remember, together we vibrate higher. And that, my friends, changes the world. Besos. Mwah. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you for being here. Make today glorious. Thank you for watching Get Your Shit Together live with Amy Joy. If you'd like to follow us, you can on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Amy Joy Coaching. Appreciate so much your likes, comments, and shares. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please reach out. We'll see you next time.